So, I was setting up this morning, well, 10 minutes ago, and I was, over the last while, I've gone, why is my voice a bit weird on the podcast? And it's not shit quality, but it seems to be different. Oh, maybe it's because I moved to the different computer, and the sound, it's a different sound system and stuff like that. I was going, oh, that must be it. But I was looking up today, and what I'd actually done, because I'm an idiot, is I was using the microphones on the recorder, the internal mics, rather than the mic. And so I was going, it sounds more roomy or something. Yes, because it's recording the room.
Yeah, recording the room, Tommy, yeah. Oh, well.
Oh, well, but it's sure, I mean, at least I know now that it's...
The more you know, the further you go, and you know more now than you did yesterday. So that means you can go to bed early, doesn't it?
Yeah, we'll just go to bed at 8 o'clock. Life complete, work done.
So Hamir, what's this bath magic that's been mentioned on the Discord? I need to know.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen the Discord today, but so you can explain it to me then.
I have no idea what they're talking about here, but Electro Wizard posted ski clad.
That means doing stuff in the nude. Skyclad. It's kind of a Wiccan word, I suppose, or a pagan
Skyclad. Why? But there's more letters than NUDE. Why would you use? That's a stupid word. That makes no sense.
Why ever use a different word that more readily explains word, because you can have
Skyclad. Skyclad.
Yeah. Like why have any kind of vocabulary?
But it sounds like cladding. It sounds like exactly. Yes, I'm with you there. We should all be speaking fucking what's that language I can never think of. The Polish Jewish guy invented it for Europe that we would speak it.
Esperanto.
Esperanto. We should all be speaking Esperanto. It would save billions and billions and billions.
Yes, I do, but I think also there was this book that came out called 1984 that warned about removal of words. And
no, I'm not just saying removal of words, but Esperanto would be good though. Esperanto would be good as a common language. It makes far more sense logically for people. Actually, I've met people that speak it here, and that's a bizarre encounter. And because they're full on like. This is going to be the common language. Like, the way they read, like, Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or whatever. And they all have in this book a common language that they can all communicate with each other.
Yeah.
So Esperanto speaks that, this is going to be the common language. Like, yeah, well, English is, And then they argue, but French was before and Latin was before and that. So, okay, so it's going to change. And, it's going to change because it's easy. It's meant to be very, very easy to learn.
But isn't it a case of things become the common language because kind of naturally? There's never a kind of a... Well, naturally, I suppose, could also mean, like, because Latin was naturally, because they came in and killed everyone. And it says, you were now speaking Latin. So that's fairly natural, right?
It is natural that one species comes and eradicates the other, you know what I mean?
Seems to be something we like to do.
Come here, I'm having a bit of an existential crisis with my ant problem. I have an awful ant problem in the garden. And
right.
I just, like, I've killed some of them, but I feel bad about doing it. And now there's more of them, and I don't really want to do it because you want to have a functioning garden, don't you? You want to have lots of life and ecosystems, all this kind of going on. And you're just like, I don't want to kill them. They're annoying. They're really fucking annoying, though. When you walk on them and they're running up towards your crotch and they're, I'm Lance Armstrong! Fucking belting it up there, belting it up there. And you're like, Jesus, I should kill these fellas. But, like, you want a functioning ecosystem of a garden, so I don't really want to, and I don't know what to do. What should I do?
Years and years and years ago, I had a mouse in the house, as you do, and I was fully absorbed in my whole Zen stuff at the time, like massively big into the whole Zen, which obviously is part of that, is do no harm, blah, 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 all these things. So I was reading a lot of Brad Warner, who you should read. I'd say you'd like Brad Warner. He's a guy who got into Zen, went to Japan, but not for kind of the Zen. He went to Japan to make monster movies and stuff.
Yeah,
he was a bass player in a punk band, and he's an interesting kind of dude. And so he's wrote a number of books, and I was into him. So I emailed him, and I said, what do I do? What's the story? And so about 4 months later, I got an email back. It was, it's a bit useless to you now, but, sometimes life, I've got it right. So basically he was saying, kill the mouse.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know the answer, but my way out of it, when I have to do something tough like that, where, when there's something, or even when there's tragedy and stuff like that, is that I didn't invent this game. so I'm not responsible for everything in it.
Come on.
No, well, but I'm not. That's like, so you can, like, sometimes you have to make a tough decision that is outside what you would ideally like your life to be like.
Yeah, no, I get you now. Yeah.
And then when you're kind of saying, so it's not obviously, do as you please because I didn't fucking start this. It's not, I didn't want to be born, but essentially it kind of is, I suppose. But it's just like going, I'm not responsible for upholding the kind of pristineness of this kind of thing. Sometimes I have to kill the ants. That's the way I look at it. I'll try my best never to kill the ants, but when it comes to the point, we go, sometimes you have to kill the ants. And I think you just have to, rather than trying to justify it as, it's okay, just you have to live with the burden of having killed the ants.
See, what I've been doing is like, and I haven't even told Aggie this, but I think she suspects what I'm doing. I'm letting some parts of the garden go kind of wild,
Okay, yeah, but that's good, isn't it, for the bees?
Exactly. It's really good for the ecosystem and to keep, and so stuff can gather there, like ants and whatever, you know what I mean? And moths can live and whatever. And I have a couple of bug hotels that I've built around the place as well. So I got it all going on, and I got cherry trees will have planted. They'll be blooming in the next couple of years. I've blackberries. I've more fucking raspberries than I have an idea what to do with. It's great. And it's not a big yard or anything, but it's just that, like, there's just a little too many. And if I could just move them all into those little wildy parts, it'd be fine. But they keep popping up, where the kids are playing, and it's like, Jesus. And I know they're only ants. And like I say it to me ma and like the mother-in-law, she said, kill them, boiling water, get paprika, get garlic, get washing up liquid, get bleach, get domestic, get all these things. I'm like, but like, if I kill them, like, doesn't that mean the birds have less food? And if the birds have less food, then there's less birds. And if there's less birds, then there's less singing. And if there's less singing, then just life is awful and you may as well just kill yourself now.
I know. But I suppose the other way to look at it is that nature itself has actually no compunctions whatsoever about killing other parts of nature at all. Doesn't care remotely. Like a lion isn't going, jeez, that gazelle probably had a couple of kids.
Mate, I always had this thing about, like, if I was a soup, like, you get asked that question, like, what's, very rarely, but it does come up from time to time, especially doing podcasts. People ask you stuff. Excuse me. What
I forgot you've coronavirus.
Coronavirus again, but we'll get to that, I'm sure. What superhero would you like? And I'm like, karma. I'd love to have instant karma that John Lennon sang about. That would be my fucking...
but for other people, not for you. Like, not personally. Like, if you say something bad in your head about someone, you instantly get it. Is that what you mean? You want your instant, or for other people to get instant karma?
I am the boss of karma, and I fucking dictate what happens.
Right, I am the Lord of Karma. Right, okay. Yeah.
So, like, I mean, maybe then I am the Lord of Karma with the ants, and fuck them, I know I'm spending far too long thinking about these ants, but like,
it's funny because in my last video I talked about ants and about how that, the way if we were to contact gods, demons, whatever it is, that we would be the equivalent of, like, so if you were there and there was like ants doing, one set of ants doing a circle and the other doing and you go, well, that's great, ants, I know, I appreciate that we have communication, but boiling water. Don't boil us.
Here comes the rapture. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll leave as many as I can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there is holistic farming tips on how to, could there be a case of like putting down, I don't know, this is a very non-kind of person who knows what he's talking about. Like, could you put down a trail of honey that leads them away or whatever it is? Like,
no, because you're the first thing to do is the first thing you're supposed to do if you have too many ants is look for the food source. So where are they getting the food from?
Right, you're gone.
There's so many fruit trees now. Like, that's where they're getting it. So I want the fruit trees. So if I want the fruit trees, then maybe I just have to have the ants. But maybe I just need to have a bit less. I don't know. But also, it's been a very, very wet year, so there's a lot anyway. So maybe
what about only killing like maybe a handful of ants, but putting them on toothpicks and just sticking them beside you, and just go, this is what'll happen, lads. This is it.
Well, the thing is as well is that once you remove one hill, like you can go at a hill and put, say, baking soda or paprika or whatever on it, and that's supposed to, that clogs up their, not gills, but the way they breathe through their skeleton, So it's a fucking shit way to do. But anyway, whatever way you kill them is a shit way to die anyway. But but unless you get the queen, they're just
Yeah.
going to be replaced anyway. So you have to dig it up and then throw down your boiling water or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
Our
like,
problem here is slugs, not ants.
Yeah, we've lots of slugs this year.
So
It's a
eggshells.
wet year. A wet year. Eggshells, yeah.
Eggshells seem to be
And
the
beer.
case.
If you put out a sauce, but like no Irish person's going to do
I'm
that.
just like, I'm not doing that. Keep the
Yeah.
slugs.
Fuck that. Like, yeah, exactly. I'd rather have slugs than give away beer.
Unless it's crap beer. I'm sure I have some crap beer knocking around somewhere. There's probably a particular beer, is it? Like, it's probably stout.
No, it's only beer. But look, I mean, you'd always, even though there's that, four cans of Dutch Gold there sitting at the bottom of the freezer or the fridge for the last 8 months.
Dutch Gold.
You'd still drink it eventually.
I remember a couple of years ago just buying, Dutch Gold. It used to be 6 for $5. A friend of mine had a song about it. Dutch Gold, 6 for a $5. Da, da, da. But then it's like, it doesn't work when it's, 7 for $9.20 or whatever it is now, But Dutch Gold is like, for people who don't know, is like the, I suppose the student beer would probably, or the unemployment beer. Before you had your Aldis, or your Aldis, and your Lidls, whatever way those two things are pronounced, that has, where the plastic bags are more expensive than the beer and whatever, that kind of thing. But we had Dutch Gold, but I got it there a couple of years ago, and it's just fine. I don't know, it's grand. It's Dutch Gold. It's like, you know what it is, you know what you're getting. But yeah, the amount of Dutch Gold I've drank in my life is probably it's probably not this dissimilar to other people my age, I would have to say.
Yeah, it's muck. But whatever. It's just it's not about the taste. It's about getting somewhere, isn't it? With
that's it.
That type of stuff, So anyway, yeah, bath magic.
Yeah, I assume it's the hoodoo thing. Is it the cleansing stuff? Is it?
I have no idea.
Herbs.
No idea.
Yeah, you can do it. I remember when I was getting mad into uncrossing stuff years ago because I was people kept telling me from my experiences that I could be cursed. And I was going, no, I'm not. But then I was like, do an egg cleansing, which is it's this very old kind of idea where you get an egg and you rub it over your body and it absorbs all the negative energy. And I went out to get the eggs, and whatever happened, it all just fell on the floor. I went, hold on, there might be something to this. There might be something going on. But it's just, well, if it is what they're talking about, because I just dipped into Discord this morning, but you can have like cleansing baths, and magic baths are a huge kind of element of hoodoo and other kind of new agey type stuff as well. But I suppose then you have the aromatherapy stuff that is kind of incorporated into all of that, and herbs and blah blah blah. But I don't know. Don't randomly pull out questions if you haven't at least looked at what they're talking about.
I know they were talking about clothes, robes and stuff like that. Magical clothes. Have you much magical clothes? I don't. No, I wouldn't be into that. No. I don't have much. No, I have lots of clothes, but all my clothes are exactly the same. It's t-shirts and jeans. That's it. Some shorts. I'm the same.
I have any number of black t-shirts.
Yeah. I had when I moved here, but then Poland's just far too warm. You can't wear black in the summer. You can't. I don't even wear hats. Like I wear hats. I always wore hats in Ireland. Always, the whole time. Well, they do have loads of hats, but you can't wear them here in the summer. It's too fucking warm.
To wear a hat? Oh, right.
You can't even wear a hat. Honest to God, it's too warm. You're just like sweat, and you get ruined then because the salt eats the fucking.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like the equivalent, I suppose, of people not wanting to wear their masks here. That's fun. The good thing about people not wanting to wear their masks, which is kind of equivalent to, I suppose, not wearing your hats in the sun, like, it points out who's the asshole on the street, or in the shop. It's a tiny kind of metric for that.
Like, oh, it's not me. Yeah, it's not me.
Hey, I'm cool. I'm a good boy. I do what I'm told. I'm pop. But yeah, but I suppose like that's unfair too, because there is the medical kind of exception. But I know people who have started carrying inhalers around with them just so that they won't have to wear a mask. But just wear a fucking mask. You wear sunglasses. You wear a hat. What's the problem? And so, you have a seatbelt. Have you heard about seatbelts? You're required to wear them for health and safety reasons and numerous other things.
It's a weird how, like people didn't really drag their feet here at all, but it's weird to watch people in Ireland and England and especially in America dragging their feet on this thing as if it's some huge fucking personal freedom. Just wear the fucking cloth.
I honestly, and I can't get my head around what the problem is. Like,
neither.
Like it just be like. If it was a case that everyone had to wear this earring, like would it be like, I can't hear anymore? Like, is it just people who have something to complain about? Because you put on a mask, and I mean, it's different, but it's not different. Like people wear scarves around their face in winter, and no one's ever complained that they can't breathe or they're or maybe they have and just haven't been paying attention.
But the camp breathing thing is nonsense. It's just not true. Like, it's just
See, the doctor did 22 miles with a face mask on. Goes, yeah, what's your problem? Ran 22 miles. Yeah, and just like, yeah.
No. You're not supposed. If you're doing cycling or jogging, you're not
No,
supposed.
but he was proving the point that he could still breathe. That was not that it was the It was
absolute nonsense. I don't understand. Like, it's just why can't we all just kind of? It's a weird thing as well, because it's something I used to have a bit of trouble with identifying with living here. Is that when I was living in Ireland, I always felt Irish and part. I mean, he's fucking Paddy Murphy, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I always felt Irish and part of something, part of an Irishness. And coming over to Poland, I've always kind of seen Poland as a couple of different countries kind of pushed together. Even though they've I suppose if you go back far enough, it has all been different countries. But it's not that they've been forced together like, say, Yugoslavia was.
Yeah.
Or Czechoslovakia was, So there's never going to be, like, down the line, a war between the ethnic Poles about breaking up around. But it's just that there's some very large differences between the cultures of, say, North Poland and South West Poland, where I am, and then South East Poland is very different again. But sorry, the point I wanted to make was that, like, I always thought that there was a thing in Poland that people don't give a fuck about each other.
Right. Right.
But then when this pandemic came along, then I totally shifted my thoughts on that and just saying, okay, obviously people actually do really fucking care about each other, and they're really nice to each other, and even still on the local Facebook groups, when people ask for help, people are helping. I know I like, people would post like, I have this thing, all my family have it, can someone do the shopping for us, that, and people, like, within minutes are like, yeah, I'll help you, where are you, what do you need? It's amazing.
I suppose I want to counter and go that most people in Ireland are like that. Like, it's
sure.
It's not like the mask thing is not the equivalent of what it seems through social media. What America is like 99.9% are wearing masks very happily. There's always one person, but that one person is always the person. There's always that one person who's going to complain about anything. But we do kind of have Facebook groups, or those things that we have local RD stuff. But it's not really the same as what you're talking about. There's no one really, well, at least I don't see people talking about that kind of stuff. But I know, talking to my brother-in-law, that he has a kind of a similar local community group that is a bit like what you're talking about as well. Maybe it's just I'm not paying attention to mine in that way, because, like, I don't really pay attention to people, I suppose. But I do think in general, like, people do, for the most part, look out for each other. And I think, having seen the kind of, the mini apocalypse that seemed at one point that it could be the actual apocalypse, and how most people reacted, I think that's kind of hopeful for humanity in that kind of sense. But then there's, like, seeing how the rest of the people reacted is quite horrifying. It's like, that's the most eye-opener. Apart from, like, people are good, people are, for the most part, mentally insane as well. But some of the things are like, my God, what's wrong with you? And that's like such, like, what, it's that whole thing we've talked about a million times. But when conspiracy becomes mainstream, and it kind of takes away, sure, what's the harm in having these ideas if people can think whatever they want to go, actual harm can come from this kind of stuff.
What's your man Rutger, what's his name, the Dutch journalist? Is he
Rutger
journalist? No, your man who was he made Tucker Carlson look like a fool. Remember this video?
No, I don't know.
You know Tucker Carlson, yeah, he's one of the biggest Fox hosts. So Rutger, I think his first name is Rutger something. He's written a couple of books anyway, and he's been on Scroobius Pip.
Oh right. You sent me this. Yeah,
it's really good. And so he had been at Davos, and he was asked during some meeting some question, and he said, "Look, first off, I just want to start with, like, the hypocrisy in this whole place stinks to the high heavens, because, like, you have guys flying from America, from Australia, talking about environmental issues. You could all have done this on Skype. So, like, you're all talking out of your arse. And, like, Fox News was like, yes, we got a guy who's a libertarian. Let's talk to him. So Tucker Carlson organised this thing with him, like 4 o'clock in the morning, Amsterdam time. He shows up at this studio, and he tears into Fox. He eats him alive, just saying how much of a scumbag Rupert Murdoch is. Just nice. Goes to town on him. And Carlson goes mental. Carlson freaks out, a la, who was the sexual abuse guy before him? O'Reilly. Bit like that. A proper freak out like Bill O'Reilly. fuck you. And then your man comes out of it with the producer and he's like, shit, so Fox aren't going to use this footage, are they? No. Huh. Let me see if I can use it. So he got in touch with a lot of lawyers and then he released it and it just went mental viral.
Oh, right.
But anyway, the point that I was going to say, he's written a book about why we've been fed this kind of lie that people are bad by the likes of Bernays. The guy we hate. And all this PR thing to make you think people are bad. Oh, I hate people. Oh, people are bad. Everyone says that. But in his book, it's like, no, man, people are great. People are fucking great. You just have to believe in them and give them a bit of power and the benefit of the doubt. People are really cool.
And I suppose we've been primed by every TV show and every film that has ever existed that if the government loses control in some way, then we turn into anarchy, and the boys around the corner will arrive with the guns and take over, and we battle with the devil, And what I've kind of found in the mini apocalypse, whatever, is that that's not what happens. People kind of go the other way, and are a bit more helpful. And there's that whole thing, I suppose, with conspiracy and the Bernays thing is totally true. There's no question. All of that's kind of true, and that kind of government priming through Hollywood and stuff. Well, that's true. You look at Top Gun. The Navy paid for it. You know what I mean? So a recruitment film. All of this does happen. It's just, I suppose, that it's the bigger conspiracy that I suppose I have problems with. But it's also the kind of, with conspiracy too, is the idea that my opinion is as valid as valid. Not that I can't have it, but as valid and should be listened to as much as someone who's qualified in the thing that I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I had an awful pang of conscience though when I went to the post office during the week because I'm not sure if this is coronavirus. This is COVID-19.
Oh yeah, you have to I suppose announce that you are yet again a coronavirus victim.
Coronavirus quarantining, and see, the thing is, what's weird is that because it was last week I asked you to push the podcast to a different time because the young one was sick and staying home, and I thought, okay, look, she's back in school a week. She has no immune system because she's 2 years old, so we knew she was going to get sick anyway. We just didn't know. I thought this thing was, once you had it, then you had antibodies for 2 or 3 years, but apparently not. You only have it for 2 or 3 fucking months now, according to the latest.
If at all.
So anyway, she gets sick, then the boy gets sick, and then we start feeling ill, and then we're ringing doctors, and we're not panicking because we'd had it before, but we're like, fuck, we got to get shopping done. If we're in for 2 weeks, we got to get disorganized, cancel any extra activities, yada. So we did all that, and then I had stuff to post, and I had to go to do all the shopping.
Oh, you're patient zero, are you?
Yeah, man, exactly. Felt awful because the thing is, the kids can't shop. Yeah. Aggie was too sick, so okay, that means I'm getting it, which means I'm
contagious, I suppose.
Contagious.
Yeah.
So I'm like, right, okay, gloves. Mask. Every time I went into a different shop, I had a different mask. I took that mask off, put it in a bag, didn't touch it. Just trying not to touch anything I can. And Jesus, in the post office, the fucking post office. Every time you go to the fucking Polish fucking post office, they change. It just, I don't know why. They just see a foreigner and they're like, they're just like, what the fuck is going on? There's this form you fill out for registered post to send anywhere. But every time I go there, and there's only 3 forms. There's only 3 forms that they have, right? One is internal, one is external, non-registered, and the other is external registered.
Right.
It's the same one that I should use every time. Oh, no. Every time I go there, they give me a different form to fill out. And this time I'm just like, no, I'm not taking it. So I'm having not an argument with her, but I'm just like, no. And we're stood there for 5 minutes just going, and I'm there going I'm literally infecting everyone in this whole fucking town. Okay? Get me the fuck out of here, I'm thinking. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not filling in any more fucking forms. I've done the work. I've done it. I'm not filling in any more fucking forms. Here's everything. And eventually she just kind of put her hands up. She's like, okay, what do you want? And I said, I want to send these to England. And eventually she just went, oh, all right. And it got registered, got done. And I don't know, the thing is, they have this thing is that they always, and it's a good thing. Wherever you go to in Poland, to shops, something like that, they want you to save as much money as you can. So like even like our local chemist and all, you go in to buy, I don't know, fucking, give me a Nurofen or something like that.
Yeah,
you go in and buy Nurofen and they're like, oh, a whole box? I'm like, yeah. I say, oh, you can buy a half box if you want. Like, oh, okay, fine. No, I want to give me a full box. Fucking bling, bling, bling. Give me the codeine.
Money. Make it rain.
So like, I think she was trying to help me save some money, but at the same time, the other form she was giving me was like this big long thing with like VAT numbers and da da da. And I'm like, it's not a company, it's a gift. Even though it's not a gift, it's something I made for someone. But like, well, maybe it is a gift. I don't fucking know. Well, it is a gift because it's a gift from them to someone else. So technically, I'm lying and cheating the tax man. But fuck him.
Many people get paid for PayPal through gift, friends and family.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've just been kind of ill, and it's weird because like. We were calling the doctor, and the doctor was ringing us because there's two doctors: the kids' doctor for the kids, and then our doctor. And they were ringing us to kind of stay in touch and make sure it was or wasn't what COVID-19. And at the beginning, they're like, "Yeah, definitely," because the creche that Machina is in had like 25 kids or something. It had gone down to 6, and they're like, "Yeah, this is it again. Buckle down, get in the fucking trenches and fucking get out your bayonets. This is the big one again." And we're like, God. And then it started to go, and then we're on to the doctors again. They're like, no, actually, no, you've after recovering too quickly. It can't be COVID-19. And yet now it's on Monday, and we're still all temperatures and sick and fever. So I think we just got a milder version of it or something. But it's such a fucking, it's just ridiculous. Like, because I thought, I didn't expect it to come. Like, I thought we'd get it back again, but I didn't think it'd just be this fucking quick, Well, kids, man. It's kids.
Yeah. But and I suppose the other thing is like the kids. It's the lowest transmission is through that age group. So think, it's like, I don't know, when full things go back in September, the colleges and all that. Is that like, is that gonna happen over there? That
everyone. Oh yeah.
So it'll be fun. But the Oxford vaccine seems to create antibodies. That's good news. And this morning they found a number of treatments that and it can be fast tracked because they're used for other things. We have the safety data in humans. Okay. So, good with the bad. Sorry that you've got the coronavirus plague twice. But, yeah.
No, but you know what? It's just whatever about being sick or whatever. It can handle it. No, you can't handle it because you get sick and it's crappy. But like, it's just, I was gearing up. I was getting some orders for some wood things, and you got me the website thing, so I've been trying to get that going as well. And it just came at a bad time, but it's always going to come at a bad time, isn't it? But
you're never going to get. I'm glad coronavirus came this week.
This time was particularly bad, and we're lucky that my mom still isn't here, because if she was here when we got it, she'd have been freaking out. And
was she there? She wasn't there the first time, though, was she?
No.
You said no. You just thought you said the flu the first time, wasn't it?
Yeah. We didn't know. We weren't sure, and then now we're fairly sure because it was much stronger than what we have now, and what we have now is lasting too long for it to be just a normal virusy flu. It's very strange. It's weird because like over the last 3 nights, when I'm going to bed at whatever 11, 12 o'clock, and say from about 8 or 9 on, I feel great, and I'm like, right, this is gone. I'll be right as rain out tomorrow. And then in the morning you wake up and you're like, oh no, yesterday morning I felt like I had fucking 20-ton fucking heifer sitting on my chest. Go moo, not today, ha!
Sure, it wasn't an old hag, no.
Fucking demon,
I'm very tempted not to say this, but I'll touch all the wood around me while I say this. I've never had a flu in my life, so I don't really know what it's like. Yeah. I've had colds, and what usually happens is I get really, not even really sick. I get that chills in my bones, and that thing for about a day at most, and then that's it. That's the most I've ever had. Touching all the wood, praying to all the people. It's probably coronavirus on the wood I'm touching. Wouldn't have had it other than I touched the wood.
Yeah, so that's my moan. But like, we're all grand. It's just that it's just lasting a little bit too long, And if we could just, and there's this thing of that, like, should you just stay indoors all the time and do nothing and rest and watch fucking cartoons and telly, or like, you probably should be outside in nature, breathing in the nice air from the trees and all that kind of stuff. But I don't fucking know, like, it's a very strange thing to have. But look, we're lucky. None of us got sick. It's just an inconvenience. That's all.
Yeah.
You know.
There's no underlying stuff or anything anyway, which is all.
Well, no, I do. Well, it's only asthma, but like.
Oh, you are in the danger category then,
yeah, supposed to be, yeah. But it's I'm only on
also you're 70, aren't you, as well? So. Oh, no, you just look 70, sorry.
70, that's it. I'm sorry. I sold my soul to have these youthful looks, you know, to Hail Satan.
I was watching that documentary on Netflix yesterday of Robert Johnson selling his soul to the thing. I was going, oh, this is good. It's only a 48-minute documentary, so it's kind of, you're just getting into it, and it goes, and that's the story of the Lord of the Rings. You know, like that old animated thing that wasn't finished. Yeah. But it's good. Yeah, it's very good. It's. I didn't know he was poisoned. I didn't know. I knew he died at 27, but I just assumed it was like the, you know,
Satan.
Well, obviously Satan, but I thought it was like more like the John Bonham, you know, choking your own puke type thing. I knew he was a bit of a lad and all that. But it does both sides. It's good. It does the whole selling the soul thing, and it does it well. You know, it's like talks to the different people. It basically goes away for a year and then arrives back at the juke joint, and he arrives in with a 7-string guitar. What the fuck? You know? And gets up and he's just amazed, and he sounds like there's 3 guitars going, and oh, he definitely sold his soul to the devil. And then it goes, but he also hung out with this guitar player for a year in a cemetery and got guitar lessons, and then that's how he got so good. But it's still an interesting thing. But still, he was in a graveyard practicing guitar every day. There's still a kind of a cool. But he's very he gave up music, and wife got pregnant, and she was 8.5 months pregnant. Went home to to the grandmother to have the thing, and he was going to follow her up a couple of weeks later. And like obviously she died and the kid died, so he arrives to expecting kid and baby to a gravesite, and so not a happy life by any chance, and he still said like his dad was a slave kind of thing, and so it was like that kind of close, and I was like, but 48 minutes. I'd love to read a book, and I should say it's super interesting, but there's so little known about him that it could you get a full book other than speculation?
I don't know. Mad. There's that'd be no. I look that up. No, I like him as well. Yeah. Fucking brilliant guitar player. Well,
it's the thing that they're trying to explain in the documentary is that that's good. He plays, and it's like a standard kind of blues lick, and he goes, that sounds nothing to you because you are so familiar with it. But he started that.
These guys invented
it. No one heard that before, and so when you can go, well, that's awesome. To us, grand. But because it's so, that word I can't pronounce, ubiquitous. Is that how you pronounce it? Ubiquitous. Yeah. That it just seems normal, but when you imagine you hearing that for the first time, and you go, "Oh wow, like that's pretty impressive,"
Yeah.
I was watching a John Coltrane documentary. He's another interesting.
Coltrane. Yeah.
I know very little about those kind of I know like Miles Davis, and I know the names, and kind of if someone put on an album and go, "Oh, this is the great album," I go, "Well, I don't know it, but I might know stuff that's been in films or in ads and stuff like that."
I find jazz the hardest, man.
Yeah. I'm watching Herbie Hancock's masterclass. It's quite good, but it's like you're really interested. Oh yeah, and then he does this kind of a jazz thing, and you go, "It just sounds like noise. It just sounds like noise." I don't understand. I'm not sophisticated enough. I don't have a total palate enough for this. It just sounds like noise.
Why are you playing all the wrong notes that aren't in the scale?
Yeah, so he talks
what's your problem?
These wonderful scales and these chord and voices, and then just smashes his hands on the keyboard for 2 minutes. And you go, "Fuck's sake."
Yeah, jazz. I find jazz hard. I'd listen to Irish trad far long before I'd ever touch jazz. It's just something. It just irks me because it's the wrong notes.
And the jazz that I suppose you can can understand like the lounge stuff is the shit jazz if you're into jazz. Like it's kind of the watered down type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it does seem to be the wrong notes. But I don't know. It's the D-muso music, isn't it? Like it's so
I need a bit of fucking devilment though, and a bit of depression and angst, but with an overall feeling of hopefulness.
Right towards the end.
Yeah. So shoegaze. I love shoegaze and post rock because you can be miserable, but also find hope in the misery. It's wonderful, and there's no lyrics really. Maybe sometimes, so you don't have someone telling you what to think.
An out of sing guy, an out of key singer, because if they could sing, it wouldn't be shoegazing because they'd be writing songs.
Well, exactly. Or else, you got fucking Kevin. What's it? Kevin, is it Murphy? Kevin Shields from My Bloody Valentine singing into humbuckers and then putting sounds like whales having sex.
Rick Beato giving out about him. He's a blocker. I'm disgusted. He's a blocker.
What do you mean? He blocked the YouTube.
We've talked about him. Yeah.
That's
poor Rick.
I
never complains. I never complain.
Love them. I've seen them a good few times. My Bloody Valentine. They're like it's the rumors are true. They're so loud. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Like it's awesome. But Rick Beato, love him. I had another session with him there over the weekend. Watched 4 or 5 of his videos in a row. He's a legend, man. He's one of the best YouTube channels.
You can see the photo we put up of him from a wedding like 20 years ago.
And Mafia boss.
Mafia boss. If there ever was one, like such a great. It's like this is a still or a behind the scenes from Goodfellas. Go that's exactly what it looks like. Brilliant.
Yeah, it looks cool. All right. Right, we get on to this, will we?
Yeah, it's you can see the one comment we got on YouTube. Most people listen to this on SoundCloud or their iTunes equivalent, whatever. But every now and again, so it doesn't get that high ratings on YouTube. But the comments be really good. Some just went, after 40 minutes. That's what we do. This is
what we do.
We talk about 40 minutes.
We have to catch up. We don't talk as much anymore because we do the podcast.
So we watched a documentary. You found this, was it? Superhuman.
No, don't blame me for this, man. Don't you fucking dare blame me for this.
So Spud found this documentary and he said it to me, Superhuman, and I'll read the blurb. I'll read some of it until I get bored. The Invisible Made Visible is based on the jaw-dropping experiences of individuals with extrasensory powers that seem to defy the laws of physics known to man today. Producer and host Caroline Corey, who has her own extensive experience in the field of consciousness studies and ESP, takes the viewers on an extraordinary journey to achieve tangible and measurable proof of these seemingly miraculous phenomena, and more stuff. Yeah, I didn't like this.
This was awful. This is the worst thing we've watched.
It is, Steph. It's
hands down.
Well, I mean, the problem is that if it's true, it's the best documentary I've ever seen in my life. Like, if everything they say and everything they claim, then, I mean, the world is about to change. It's a whole different... so my kind of thing... I don't know where I came across this, actually. But it just came out anyway. And I paid 18 quid for this, I'll have you all know. Like, and then the next day, it's like 5 quid on Amazon. I went, fuck it.
But it's 5-star ratings on Amazon, but only 2 people have rated it.
Yeah, it wasn't me, In general, like, I mean, it's kind of, I was expecting more, or wanting, not expecting, I was wanting more something like Psychic Spies. I know where I found this. It was under remote viewing Reddit. That's where it was. And so I was expecting more a remote viewy thing, and I went, great, this is it. But the remote viewing part of it is 10 minutes at most, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's the most... I don't know, believable bit of it, I suppose. In that I'm fairly convinced about remote viewing because, I've done it. And
look, we've done it loads, haven't we?
Yeah, and, even the most ardent skeptics are pretty convinced on remote viewing. Like, even in that Darren Brown documentary where he tries to debunk it kind of at the end, goes, well, he did get an awful lot of it right, in fairness to him, who they were testing. But, so it's very in the kind of the secret, what the bleep do we know? It's that kind of what it is a Gaia documentary that has a wee bit more of a budget than most Gaia documentaries, but not much. But in that kind of a, I suppose, American.
Do you know what it is?
Middle-aged woman American spirituality. Yeah. Is that fair? It's not fair, but it's true, probably.
Karen's back. Karen's back.
If Karen made a new age documentary about remote viewing, this is exactly what it would be. She wants to speak to the remote viewing manager.
Do you know what? The problem with it, the problem I had with it was that subject matter is really interesting.
Yep.
Incredibly interesting, because you have these, the remote viewing stuff, but then you have these, the kids who can tap into energy.
Weird.
And they're moving pencils with their mind, or they're reading books blindfolded and stuff like that.
Riding bicycles.
Yeah, riding bikes. They were doing karate and all sorts of stuff like that. Then there was stuff about, changing your DNA by just kind of thinking about it, making better. And but Corey Feldman turns up. I don't know what the fuck he's doing there. And the
He
problem
comes
with
up and says, I don't believe in ghosts. All the other stuff I believe in, but not ghosts. Don't get me wrong. I don't believe in ghosts.
The problem with it is that it's made so badly.
It's so bad, yeah.
Terrible. You're bombarded. It's like I reckon if you watch this, it's the equivalent of like what an aneurysm is like. Because it's
You should leave that as the Amazon review. Oh my God, it's the best review I've ever heard. 5 stars. It's what an aneurysm would be like. 10 out of 10 would watch again.
Take some mushrooms, watch this, your brain will explode in a bad way. Not in a good way. You won't be meeting Terence McKenna's mushroom. You'll be freaking out.
No machine elves, it's machine Karens.
So, no, but the problem, like, there's this weird thing where that, like, I think because maybe she produced it. So Caroline, maybe she wasn't confident enough in her interviewing and in her interviewing footage that she kept, when people are speaking, she would just flood the interview with stock images or stock footage of things happening to try to explain it.
Well,
but
she had to justify her subscription to the stock image site. You know what I mean? You could pay 150 quid a month. Well, I need to use it all.
But it's not like you know, like say like with something that's say a bit more say medical or something. They would show maybe graphs or maybe some or graphs or some graphics of something happening to the body as they're talking about. But the thing is like someone is making a point or something, and next thing you're showing this like something like the world, an image of the world with like magnetic poles on it, and everything is connected, and then the next image is like of a horse, you know, galloping through a fucking field of wheat, and you're like, whoa, hold on, whoa. And, but the guy is talking about psychosis or something. And it's like, these things are not connected. Why are you putting these things here? They're just, and it's just like you're bombarded from start to finish with these images that have no connection with what's being spoken about on the screen. So it's a bit like that Netflixy thing. What's the guy you like that's out at the minute, the animation thing?
Duncan Trussell.
Yeah, it's a bit like the Duncan Trussell thing, because I'm hearing something completely different than what I'm seeing, and I don't know which one. Obviously, I should be paying more attention to what I'm hearing. Like I just said to me about halfway through, she's like, I can't concentrate on this. If this is a podcast, it'd be really good. But it's just there's too many images. You don't know what's going on. You know? It's very, very badly done.
And this isn't her first documentary. By I was looking her up a bit, and she's like 4 or 5. And you see them. I haven't actually seen them, but I've seen. You know, when you're looking through, you put in UFO into Amazon Prime. Whatever. So I've seen them come up. And she's been on Ancient Aliens, and she's been on a couple of other things. She has a YouTube channel, but she's like less than 2,000 subscribers, which not to like that. Doesn't mean anything.
So do we, Tommy. What are you saying?
I know like loads of people like that. And it's really good. Like I've less than 6,000, so I'm 3 times better now. But like her channel
as a person,
obviously. But her channel is full of the equivalent same thing. It's the Gaia documentary template. It's that kind of thing. But it's her channel is way more woo than even Superhuman is. But it's a lot of that kind of me talking, and then stock image of something that's I think meant to be uplifting and spiritual looking, and getting you in touch with I don't know the energy of the world. Yeah. But it's a cheap attempt at doing. You've never seen The Secret. Like Secret's done really, really well. Like it's a good, well polished documentary. Or whatever. It's not quite a documentary. Whatever that talking head thing is. Where there's a lot of kind of interspersed with people, with the B-roll stuff, but relevant B-roll stuff. So, and that one, What the Bleep, you should watch that at some point as well. It was huge when it came out. It kind of putting the quantum physics into The Secret kind of thing.
Right.
But there's a whole kind of, it was funded by it's basically a cult. So it's but it's interesting, and there's a lot of reality transurfing type stuff in as well. But it's done kind of similar as well. But it has that kind of trope of that everyone did after this. So to have a documentary and of interviewing people and of people talking, but there also is this kind of storyline going through it of a woman trying to discover who she is. That's a fiction thing, that kind of.
Yeah.
You see that a lot in New Age stuff, and you don't see it so much in murder documentaries or Holocaust documentaries. So it seems to be mostly spiritual documentaries that has this kind of.
It was Sergeant McCabe's last day on the job.
I suppose you do see stuff like that sometimes in the military documentaries where they have this, but it's not a fictional account. It'll be some actual dude who was a hero, not some, I suppose, middle-aged man who's having a kind of a crisis because he realizes he doesn't love his wife as much as he used to, or whatever. But yeah, so anyway, there was a couple of interesting guest stars. I suppose interesting by the fact that other than one of them, I didn't know who they were. And you won Rachel Brooks Smith, who's the one who she kind of drags in to get a crash course in remote viewing, and then proceeds to be the greatest remote viewer that ever existed ever. Instantly. Yeah. Which is kind of a theme of this, where they go and they talk to a bunny ears expert, and then they do a test and an experiment, and they get the greatest results that has ever happened in the history of this experiment ever. Every time.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So Rachel Brooks Smith is an actress and an inspiring role model. This is from her.
And you know what?
Yeah.
She's good at acting.
she's in one
she can
film.
Act.
Yeah. So she also never wears matching socks. It's a kind of thing she has.
Is that written on her?
That's from her own IMDb page.
Right.
So she says she believes in a return to sender universe where you send out is exactly what you get back. So we're firmly in the secret kind of law of attraction. I'm responsible for everything that happens in the world.
Does that mean she never farts?
Well, she does, but they come back very quick in a different form. They come out and then immediately go back up, smelling of roses.
Put out into the world what you want. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that seems a giant flaw in the whole law of attraction thing.
I found it, Tommy. I found it.
Yeah.
Now let's write a book together.
Right, law of attraction. Yeah. But what about farts? Yeah. Work that out, man. So we're in that. There's definitely this whole sphere of that. Trying to get off the fart element of thoughts create things, and I am the creator. I'm co-creating. Blah 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 blah. So anyway, she gets a remote viewing session, and in fairness to her, if it's to be believed, which I'm skeptical of the whole documentary, she does quite well in remote viewing. But as I've said, I'm convinced of remote viewing. I think it's a thing. It's a thing that can happen. Some of the stuff, the hits she gets, you can see are definitely edited to make them look better because like she's talking about long, black, hard, but also soft things, and immediately the woman's holding a black pole.
The bars.
I know, which could have been 2 hours later, or they could have filmed that the next day. Who knows? Yeah. But the Christmas tree lights one is an interesting one. The Starbucks thing, I don't know. I mean, people get coffee a lot. Like how long ago was it? And there's no footage of anyone drinking Starbucks.
And from what I know about America, there are no other coffee shops than Starbucks at the presently. So
she's near a Gap. Is there a Gap shop? It's somewhere close to her. Yeah. So yeah, but she's totally convinced by the whole thing, and everyone's delighted with themselves. And then they kind of drop the whole remote viewing thing as, we've done that.
Oh, we've done that. It's proven. It's proven.
Let's move along. So then
I'm same as you. I'm convinced by. Jesus, remote viewing's what got me into Woo anyway.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? We were doing it, and then suddenly I was getting stuff right, or you were getting stuff right, or the listener or the listeners would be getting stuff right about stuff I'd done. I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm in.
Yeah, and then you did the first time you did it, and we ended up going back out to that place to try and do a video, and it got weirdly none of the cameras would work. Yeah, there was a helicopter coming overhead. They knew exactly what we were talking about. The FBI. So we should mention, I suppose.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll come back to him. We'll not sidetrack too much. But you got it not completely right. Not in so much of that. If you described what you said to someone else, that they would get an exact picture of what the place was. But everything you said was right.
Yeah.
There
was another one as well. I remember, and you said I'd gotten it completely wrong, but I think you had drawn some kind of sigil or something like that.
Right.
And I think I guessed to you like it was a car or something to do with a car, and you were like, no. And then you did the reveal video and it had nothing to do with a car. But I was like, no, fuck this guy. I'm right here. All right. So I think I got like your image or something like that, or maybe I took a screenshot of or something. But I did like a backward Google image thing, and it looked exactly like the really really old Renault logo. So I was like, ha, gotcha.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I think remote viewing is brilliant. I'm gonna we'll do another one soon, and like I'll have a
well,
good
we'd
one.
all intending on you doing one other than you got the lurgy again, but it's we'll get to it. So then we meet Dean Radin. Now, are you aware of who Dean Radin is? Because he's the darling of magic and occult circles, to be quite honest.
No.
He has a really good book called Real Magic, which is it would be a good introduction book to magic and to this kind of thought. Now, he's a doctor in he's loads of papers published in his own journal. So he's the main guy behind noetic science, which he created. Blah blah, all this kind of thing. But he's
whoa! I thought that was Edgar Mitchell.
But I think noetic science thing, it's not. I don't think it's the same. I think like noetic is a word. It's a real word. So it's kind of.
Oh, is it? I thought it's noetic science. Noetic sciences is like a company.
Oh, there is. Yeah, there is.
Done by Edgar Mitchell.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to bail out on this. We look into that.
Okay.
But Dean Radin's definitely the head of this thing. But he's kind of proved scientifically, doing loads of experiments, loads of different things. The kind of complaint about him is that he cherry picks his results and that other people can't seem to replicate the stuff in the way that he says, and thing. And that one of the things that I'll come back to maybe is I'll say your man Masaru Emoto. The way we get to the point where they're talking about we can change the pH in water, and that kind of whole section where he's been. So basically, they put a thing in water, like a test probe. Jeez, I couldn't think of the word. And then they just do readings for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And and it doesn't change, whatever. And so then your one comes in, Caroline, and within like 4 seconds, she has lowered the pH level by a whole 1 unit, which is unheard of. And this is the most amazing thing, whatever. So that kind of reminded me of this kind of idea of it's a guy called Masaru Emoto, who you've definitely seen the photos of. He concentrates on hate, and then you see the crystal forming in the water, and it's disgusting or whatever. And then he does love, and there's this beautiful crystal stuff. Have you seen that? It's really, really well known. But Dean Radin was kind of the guy who popularized that or whatever, published it, and this kind of thing. So the problem with that kind of thing is that for every he's not a scientist. The guy, he's a doctor. He's a doctor soul. He's a doctor of alternative medicine. And he also believes that the reason why cigarettes damage people or hurt people's health is not because of the cigarettes themselves, but because of the warning labels on cigarettes or causes. So it's if they said smoking is awesome, then cigarettes would not be bad for you.
But should then just buy them in a language you understand.
Yeah,
it's fine. If you're in America, just buy the ones that are labeled in Spanish. You'd be grand. Yeah. Sí, es muy peligroso.
So anyway, this whole thing of it's often touted as. Thoughts, have effect on water, and it's kind of like I suppose that Mythbusters thing that we talk about, where people scream at plants and they grow better. That's a bit different. That's kind of more sensory kind of thing. But there's loads of these photos of hate and love and peace and how it affects the water things. The way he set them up isn't great. There was an awful lot of controls. He didn't believe in double blind experiments because he says we have 2 eyes. Why would I want to be blind? I go, you mightn't understand what double blind means. But he also took 100 photos of each of the things. So like hate had 100 photos, and he only publishes 1 of each. So it's kind of that the accusation of cherry picking and stuff like that. And also, again, no one can replicate his kind of things. He died a couple of years ago, but he seems like an interesting, cool. He seems like his heart is definitely in the right place. He doesn't seem like he's trying to. I don't know. He's not selling you a course. He's not selling you. He's just going. I thought this was interesting. Kind of a thing rather than really trying to, I suppose, hoodwink people. But anyway, Dean Radin, that thing we've talked about it before. The experiment to do in that is that they show you pictures, and you have a kind of a response to it. And some of it, like the pictures that are the show in the actual documentary, aren't that kind of graphic. But the ones he did, as far as I know, show was like porn images. Gruesome deaths, and then like a meadow, and old puppies and things. And the idea is that your mind reacts to the gruesomeness or the sexual response before you're seeing the image.
Yeah.
And there seems to be something in that. Now, I've only really heard or looked at his stuff, but I did come across where other people have kind of done that, and they don't really know what it is. But it's more, Dean Radin goes, this proves, consciousness, has a thing. Whereas the other people go, we don't really know what this is. We need to look more because sometimes...
There's other people who have done experiments on like, like sometimes you're not really paying attention and you might go to cross the street on a zebra crossing, but you stop and suddenly a truck goes by. They've done experiments on that to try and prove or to try and find out what the fuck is going on. And
it's a dangerous experiment.
Yeah,
just walk out there, see what happens.
It's this sixth sense kind of thing. That's what they're trying to prove. If it's real and if it's tangible and what is it and how come it's there and all that. That's come up before. While you were talking, I looked them up there. It's the same thing. It's the IONS, the Institute of Noetic Sciences.
So the Edgar Mitchell is part of it. I thought it was.
Edgar Mitchell started it, so he did.
Oh, okay, interesting, very good.
When he came back from space and had that epiphany up there, he was like, right, let's go all woo here, lads, and let's get. He's brilliant. It's because of him that there's so many. Documents still being released by the Army and Pentagon and all these kind of people.
The Pentagon admitted to UFOs the other day and everything. Whatever. Other things to worry about at the minute. But what the line is that dealing with craft and machinery that wasn't built on this world or this planet.
Yeah.
That's kind of admitting it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so don't get me wrong about Dean Radin. I've a lot of time for him. I really like his book, whatever. But it's kind of the Rupert Sheldrake. I put him in the same category of that. That's interesting. I'll wait till other people also agree with you because at the minute you're the only person saying it, and you're convincing enough in your thing. But I don't know enough. But what I usually do actually is my brother-in-law is a professor at Oxford. So he's kind of, proper scientist dude, and you know him as well, Keith, obviously. So I'll usually get him to do a background check on any of these people, and he'll tell me whether they're, because he's access to the proper papers and stuff like that, so he can see if they're published. I did it with the guys from the Skinwalker Ranch documentary, and they came back pretty decent enough that they had done stuff. They were like actual scientists and stuff like that. So I sent Dean Radin to him ages ago, and he was like, "Oh no." And I said, Rupert Sheldrake, and he went, no. So,
he doesn't like Sheldrake. I like Sheldrake. I have to pity.
I like him too, but not that he doesn't like him. He didn't. He's just going. He's not coming up in the way that if I put in someone who's you would get a certain response. I don't understand it. I'm not a scientist. I wear a mask because people who are scientists tell me all that kind of stuff. But that book, Real Magic, they put it on your list. There's an audio book of it. It's good. It'll give you the whole kind of Dean Radin thing, and then you'll understand where he's come from, all those things. The next thing we got to was this focal pattern stuff where they got in a dancer, this in the documentary, and you could, when you spoke, patterns would appear in this program. And as far as I'm concerned, this entire section can go and fuck itself because it's awful. It's just stupid.
Yeah, it is stupid. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And it's just kind of shows that, right, there might be something interesting happen, but the conclusions people are drawing from these things it's like, when I say things that are kind of stressful, there's a certain pattern because you have a different response, brain-wise or emotional response from negative stuff to positive stuff. But that, which of course. But then which means that I can speak into the world and create the world. And I go, well, that is kind of one thing of magic where you have the spell, you're creating that thing. So I do think there is it, but it's kind of, she starts talking about yellow when everything turns yellow, and then you start talking about purple and the screen turns purple. And go, that could be programmed in very easily.
That's totally programmed in, obviously. Even
obviously.
I know that. I know nothing about programming, Yeah, no, not buying it.
Didn't buy that though. In principle, I do like the idea of speaking your truth out into the world and all this magic kind of stuff. I found that whole kind of, and he was a bit weird. The guy who was doing it, he's like kind of go. You were just waiting for him to go. But can you show me your feet? So I didn't like that bit. I thought that was dumb. So the next bit is Ben Hansen. Do you know Ben Hansen? Do you ever see Fact or Faked Paranormal?
No.
That's how I know him from. It was a TV show from 10 years ago. something like that, where they would basically take a story that was some supernatural paranormal event, and then they'd split up the teams and they'd go investigate it and then try to replicate it. And if they could replicate or work it out, then they would go, this is faked. And if they couldn't, they would say, this is true. But what I liked about it is sometimes they would get to the point to go, we can't even replicate this. We've no idea how this happened. So no conclusions drawn, just we can't do this. So it was decent. And he was like the team leader in it. And there's one episode where there's like this UFO kind of, he's investigating a UFO and a guy sighting, and a guy says, oh, and I found it in the forest and all this, and he goes through it, and at the end he just kind of berates your man, starts screaming. He says, I think you're a fraud, I think you're trying to hoodwink people, and you're just like really going for it, and your man just kind of standing there going, am I still getting paid like for this documentary? But like, so I as those type of programs go, I think he's okay. Like he mentions that he worked for the FBI. He's an ex-FBI agent a bit too often for. It's kind of, you can go, oh, you probably had a weekend with them or something, did you? But this is where, what's his face, Corey comes into it.
Yeah, I didn't really understand how that experiment worked that he did.
Well, it's like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's just showing, his point he was trying to make was, so basically 2 recorders, and he was going to show that you can send audio through stuff that isn't radio waves, through and it's an electromagnetic wave he's putting through. But like, it's kind of, I think like that's not really news, is it? Like, we know we can send.
Well, isn't that
audio
like? Isn't that like? Because I know you put up a video there on Discord a while ago about the 432 hertz thing.
Yeah.
There's 432 and 338, I think, is the Tesla one or something like that. There's other ones as well. Anyway, there's loads of them. Anyway, I remember watching old videos about that, about how sound can potentially cure people or get rid of cancer and stuff. And one of these things is the resonance. So you have a tuning bar to A, you hit that, or you have 2. You hit one of them, and then you dampen that, but the second one will resonate, Yeah. Is this the same thing?
Kind of, I think. I don't really know enough about the electromagnetic thing he was using. It was basically, he had 2 kind of recorders into the headphone socket of one. Was a lead that led to like essentially a magnet, I suppose, and then the same on the other one, and he could play the recording of that Corey made through one, and without it touching the other one, it was recorded perfectly on the second recorder.
Yeah.
But like I think his point he was trying to say was that sound can move through energy, and I think with the kind of conclusion, therefore, I don't know, ghosts or something. I don't know what it's like we know that. Like, I mean, we know we can send audio through things other than radio waves and through air or whatever, because like we can send through Wi-Fi, we can send it through any. But he's saying so. But I think it was the electromagnetic thing is kind of his point.
Yeah, it's just that the sound waves is how we measure it. It's not how it is. You know what I mean? It's like. And
then he was saying, the thing that I was using to send the audio is also exactly the way the earth works. So therefore. What?
Yeah, hold on now. Whoa, go back there. Hey, Albert Einstein there. Come on, rewind a bit. What? You lost me.
But then the heat on the chair thing, I was at a loss. What are you proving here? That humans are hot? So he had a thermal imaging app that there was obviously some sort of iPhone plug-in, and he videoed 2 chairs with no one in it, 2 chairs with people in it, and then there was a residue of heat when they got up. And
yeah, amazing. Oh my God. Like, give him the Nobel Peace Prize, man.
Yeah, my mind was blown. I was like, wow. And it was the hottest round his heart. Really, the most active centre in your body. But that's strange.
Unbelievable. It's hard. I mean, I'm still shocked. To be honest, I don't know how.
Was his thing going? Oh well, it's not just what we see with our eyes. Was that the point of that entire?
Probably
it was.
Must have been. I don't know.
He's not even listed in IMDb so maybe he is. He's kind of said, I have nothing to do with this. Maybe he did an awful lot more that was taken out. So, but my point is, I do like him, and I think he going by that other TV show that I've seen him in, he seems to have a good kind of approach to it. So it seemed very weird that was going nowhere. That there was didn't. So it seems maybe there was other stuff, and also it's from a couple of years ago, that interview. Like there's a part of the documentary that seems that it was done in 2018, but it only came out now. So maybe there was a YouTube serial or something. I don't know exactly.
Yeah. God knows, man.
Yeah,
God
but then
knows.
the kind of the heat shared that thing that the Corey kind of chimes in at the end and kind of pushes it in one direction. So he's kind of going, we leave residue of energy behind us all the time. That's kind of his point. And then Corey goes, yeah, so if I think positively, then only positive things will happen. And I'm kind of going, how are you getting...
saying that? Who said that? Yeah.
But then then it cuts to him, Ben, nodding.
Oh, yeah,
And,
yeah.
but like it's hard to know.
Yeah.
So then we get on to the moving tinfoil with our hands.
Yeah, the hot actress is back.
Yeah.
And you can see your man is totally into her.
Yeah, and it was like
saw-
she was the greatest at it. Having the first time she's ever done it. This is the best kind of results we've ever got from this test. Particularly given that there's 6 cameramen and a lot of pressure on you. You're lovely. So
Yeah,
this is do you want to explain
with her
this?
mind, with her mind bullets, they get like a toothpick and put some the tin foil that the chewing gum comes in, the long sticks of chewing gum.
Yeah.
So that's like perfectly balanced on top of a toothpick.
Yeah.
And then you have to put the glass case over it.
Which is just a vase.
Just a vase. Why it isn't already prepared, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Do you know? Just to show that it's easily knock-offable, which is a new word. Yeah. And so basically what you have to do is think of love. Love. And you can make it spin round, baby, right round.
Like a record baby. round.
Okay. Like if you can think about something and make it move, that's pretty fucking cool in fairness.
Yeah.
If it's believable or if it's real or if it's believable. But at the same time, it's kind of like, it's just they're not coming to any real conclusions to it or like real world benefits or how this can be used for the betterment of humanity other than, hey, guys, new party trick, what's this? Because
she does come out of that,
lads.
She comes out of that experiment going, I've learned so much about myself from doing this. Okay. What? That I can move tinfoil with, man. No, I mean, you could kind of go, is it the heat of the hands round it? Like that is kind of heating up the air or something like that. Then they put 2 in it, and as soon as they put the lid down without her doing anything, her starts spinning, and she gets credited with being this amazing, I don't know, tinfoiler.
Yeah.
But it's...
Well, look, it's like, I mean, we're watching this, and Aga's like, look, these things work because it's energy. It's all energy. And Tesla used to say the same thing. If we look at frequencies and energy, this is what it all is. And Einstein was the same. He has this thing. And it's just that, we don't know how we really affect energy, even though, and I suppose just by showing the heat map and things like that, it is showing that, okay, like we do leave energy behind us.
Yeah.
Like what can happen with that energy? I'm pointing behind me as if I left some. Like what can you do with that? Well, we don't know. Like that's the thing. So that's what the next step is, or else it's just like, right, well, I have some energy and I can move these tiny little, really lightweight pieces of tinfoil. Now, what's next? Can I lift up? That incredibly heavy prostitute and do things with it.
Or, some sort of spaceship from a swamp, maybe. It's too heavy. Heavy has nothing to do with it. Look. Stop it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, at least with that one, we can all try that at home. We can. So, I mean, there was one I used to do years ago because Stuart Wilde talked about it. Is that you magnetize a needle and you put it in a cork and you put it in water and then you try and get it to spin. I can never get it to spin personally, but I do. Like, I mean, I've seen lots of footage of people being able to, but it's things like with the pendulum as well. Like you hold the pendulum, for like divination or the rods that your dad
the old
and
man,
kind of. But like, there obviously seems to be some element that you have to be touching it. A pendulum, if you just put it, kind of hanging off something. And with all your will and all your mind, you're not getting that to move. There's no way, but it'll move very easily in your hand, which kind of suggests that it's micro kind of twitches or something like that, which is fine if that's how that works. But you're same with the rods. Like, I doubt your dad could get them to move if he's not touching them. It's either twitchy hands and and lucky guess that he finds the water or the stress, which it seems unlikely because people are quite good at it. Or there's an energetic interplay that you need to be touching the pendulum in order for it to become an extension of that kind of thing. Yeah. So I just have to stress that I'm open to an awful lot of what they do in this documentary. just not the way they present it,
exactly. That's what I said
so
at the
I'm
start.
debunking them, not really, I suppose.
The subject matter is really interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah.
It's just the documentary's very bad.
Yeah.
Very, very bad. I'll be honest, at the end, I trailed off. I missed the whole last 15 minutes. I've no idea what happened.
The last 15 minutes is the weird bit with the kids and this ICU, which seems to be a place in the UK and England. And I was looking a bit up into it. It's this one called Nicola Farmer. And she's also kind of has a website called ascendingwisdom.co.uk. And what she calls the ICU, which is...
ICU too.
It's Inspiring Children Universally. That's what that stands for, in case anyone's wondering, which sounds less, I suppose...
Nazi-ish.
real than ICU. But ICU Academy provides information and opportunities to enable children to change the way they learn and grow. The revolutionary methods available are new and very exciting ways for children to use their minds with greater capacity and awareness, and opens up their learning abilities to new levels of understanding. Which basically means you can read with a blindfold, you can ride your bike with a blindfold, you can... This stuff, I find this creepy, I suppose, in one sense, but I didn't believe it because they were reading books, and I was going, well, like, I've read the same story to my son a million times. I know books off by heart already. But they do seem to take them randomly and stuff like that, which is, you know, it's interesting. I don't know enough about it, but it was kind of going, if this is true, then obviously this changes the entire world. You know, like, but... because this has been, you know, she's been doing it a couple of years and the world hasn't changed, then I assume it's not true. You know what I mean? Like
COVID-19 wasn't around when she started.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say that. Like, there was no 5G before she started.
Oh, I have to tell you, they're putting up a 5G tower across from us. And,
lovely. You'll have better internet.
Yeah, but no, there was people going around and they came to the door and go, oh yeah, well, we don't want the 5G. And I was going, oh, what's going on? But it's literally, we don't want the 5G because it's ugly as fuck and they're putting it in a really nice area. And I kind of go, well, that makes sense. But yeah, really fast internet.
Huh? NIMBY.
Yeah, really fast internet, and Bill Gates will know exactly where I am at all times. So, I mean, it's win-win.
He already does. You're at home, Tommy. Where do you go?
Bill Gates going, Tommy's still at home. Yeah. You don't need to monitor him
He's
anymore.
working Monday to Friday. Of course he's at home. He has a job. I mean, weekends could be anywhere. Don't know. But Monday to Friday's at home, lads. You know. Thanks.
Thing about Tommy
you owe me 10 grand.
Yeah, he's not that interesting. Why are we following him exactly? What are we learning? He likes to stay at home and be on the computer for 10 hours a day. That's fair enough. So yeah, the children thing is very weird, I thought. It's just like, it can remind me of, you know, The Village. Remember that old one with the kids, with the blondie kids and Village of the Damned. That's actually what it's called, not The Village.
Children of the Corn, that one? Another one, similar. Okay,
Well, it's the black-eyed kids kind of thing. But it's like I don't know, it can remind me of the whole Indigo Child scenario stuff that, you know, people, you know, they were coming here to save the planet and all that, and it's going, turned out a lot of them are autistic. And, you know, but like, I understand people wanting to go down that road, but it's like spiritually special because you know, we don't understand. Maybe there's kind of an element of this. But if kids can do this, if they can read through blindfolds, if they can ride bikes without blindfolds, if they can do all this, wonderful, because what it goes into then is taking a practically blind person, and this moves to a Russian dude, but of course the Russians, I believe the Russians, you know, this infovision stuff, because, you know, Vadim Sealand, he seems to, you know, he's included. There's seems in me an authority that a Russian has, that if he was, you know, from, you know, Cornwall, that I wouldn't give him if it was the same dude, you know, with exactly the same, seems to be a bit more of a thing. But, so there's an infovision, and it's a guy called Mark Komisarov. And they basically have worked out some kind of way where they can get people to see blindfolded. So that's where I think you want Nicola Farmer's getting stuff. I have an interesting kind of thing that happened to me a couple of times where I'd be lying in bed with my eyes closed and I can see. And I can see the room around me. And I was thought, oh, well, that's obviously something weird. And then a friend of mine, Ian, on Facebook, started talking about that it's happened to him a number of times. And it's like, obviously, and it's so, like, I mean, it's at the time you're going, this is mad, you know, because you're aware of, but you also go, your eyes are closed, and it's like you're not seeing anything weird other than, like, you know, your wife's back,
but like,
or a
are
pillow.
you seeing yourself? Is it an out-of-body thing?
No, it's exactly as if your eyes were opened, what you'd be seeing. But it feels a bit odd because, you know, obviously your eyes are closed. And it's happened say 4 times. That it's enough that I go, oh, there's that thing happening again. So again, maybe something.
I wonder is it a form of though like photographic memory? Maybe that's something you can
Yeah,
look into
but it's
developing.
also that thing that some like blind people see in the sense of that they have an awareness of the room, so it kind of becomes pictorial in the mind. That seems some people kind of are able to do it, and I think this is kind of what they're developing with. Or you see the people doing the sonar thing, the clicky stuff, and they get a something like that. Or it's just your mind going, well, I know what's in front of me, even though your eyes are closed. Here's what it is, and you get into that kind of hypnagogic state, the pre-sleep state, all that kind of stuff. Like I haven't ever had it walking down the street, but whenever I walk down the street, my eyes closed for it to happen, So the only time you really spend a long time with your eyes closed.
Well, I suppose it would be like deja vus and stuff like that,
And it's never happened to me through meditation, which would be another kind of length of time with my eyes closed.
Aye.
But to get this kind of practically blind woman, and who can't read, but she's not fully blind, so she has big magnifying glasses to read menus and newspapers and stuff like that. And to get her talking to this guy's assistant on Skype, and does all the things and is able to read and is able to function, and her eyesight is amazing. Again, it's like, if this is true, this is amazing. But I don't feel it's true because
no, but what the fuck was I reading lately about mind over matter? Oh God, some book. What the fuck was I reading there before one I'm on now? I don't remember. It'll come back to me if I think of it. And they were just saying that it's I suppose it's not a new thought really. It's that we separate mind and matter, thinking they're two different things. But actually, no, we need to look at it as one thing.
One thing
that is, which is hard to do because we're so used to thinking it as two things. But if we can teach ourselves to think of it as one thing, then we can manipulate both of them together and unify it. So that's, for me, that's what this is. It's people learning how to use this sixth sense or whatever that they have in themselves to bump up the other ones or whatever, that's the way I can put it into my logic anyway. So I suppose it's something like that. I don't know. I mean, I think I remember I had a neurologist. I told you about him before. I was teaching him English. I was teaching his family English, and he would do the odd one if he was home on the nights I was there. He'd pop in for an hour and do a lesson with me as well. But he was really interesting. He was saying that like what do you call it? Medical, normal kind of medical procedures and operations and medicine and stuff like that is really, really advanced. Oh no, sorry, advanced really, really quickly from when people started doing it. So from the time of grave robbers to what we have now, grave robbers to what we have now, like it advanced really quickly, and like they discovered like bacteria and penicillin, really, really fast. And he's saying we haven't had that with the brain. But it's starting to happen, because more and more people are paying attention to it. And he's like, within 100 years' time, like neuroscience and neurology and all these things are going to be completely different things. And he said like we're only at the starting blocks with what the brain, with what we're learning about the brain, And he wasn't a woo guy, like really. But at the same time, like we'd sit there for an hour just talking about just how crazy the brain is, like, and how we still don't, like, he's the head of neurology for this whole province. Yeah, and he's we don't have a clue.
Yeah, like, that's anyone I've kind of looked into, neurologists or whatever, and that seems to be like the kind of thing they go, well, we don't know. And I mean, like, that's so refreshing, like that you go, I'm an expert in the world of this. We don't know. So, we're looking into it.
No, like think about it, like this guy, like there's 12, is it 12 or 16 provinces in Poland? I don't know. Let's say 16 provinces in Poland, right? That's all. He's one of the head guys. And he's like, oh. But the brain is crazy, I don't know. It's like, yeah, but you're like one of the head doctors. Yeah, I know, yeah. Okay, I don't need to
and it's not that I'm a bad doctor. I'm a good doctor. I know things. We don't know. But then it's the kind of conclusions then that I suppose us as a community, as a magical community, which I assume you're now accepted as part of, or accept yourself as part of, we kind of jump too quick to, we don't know what the brain is, therefore woo. No, we don't know. Let's calm down here. Which brings me to the thing I was talking about earlier on, like what is the harm of all of this kind of documentary and stuff like that? And it's what I feel is, because we keep stressing well into all of the things to cover, all of the different kind of areas. It's when you have a documentary like this and it's so, I don't know, cherry picked in what they want to talk about, conclusions presented as fact. It's going, I 100% believe there's something to all of this. And I don't think documentaries like this help the validation of that, or helping towards the realization of that, or the acceptance of that, or the thing. I think it's
100%.
Yeah.
All this does is it bumps up Caroline Corey's IMDb page and makes her look more important than she is.
Yeah.
You know?
And makes Woo that bit more ridiculous in the view of people who don't accept it anyway. You know, it just it's feeding the people who are totally open to this. It's validating them, not validating, but you know, agreeing with you, and so they feel validated. Where it's not pushing forward the real work that needs to be done of let's properly look at this. Like, and you look at people like Dean Radin who seem to be doing that, but even he seems to be, if his believe is distractors. That's not the word. What am I? The people who
distractors.
That he cherry picks detractors. Yeah.
What am I saying?
Who it seems to be we don't want to be as rigorous as it needs to be, that we seem to be only ever been as a counter to mainstream science, telling them why they're wrong.
I think.
I don't know. Am I making any sense there? I don't know.
No. I agree with you, but I mean, look, I'm not into this very long, but I see that already. Is that, like, I think more people are into the ceremony or the ritual or the kind of community of it than actually finding out what it is.
So the live action role play, the LARPing,
but then again, you know, like, I mean, I don't know how my car works. I know it works. Yeah. You know, so different strokes, different focuses. But I'm like you. I do like to know the mechanics of stuff and how, to an extent, I don't care about cars. You know, but like, you know, if say, you know, someone in the Discord does a thing that they say they're having certain success with doing XYZ or with sigils or with lesser banishing pentacles or whatever the fuck they're doing. I totally mixed fuck that up, didn't I?
You're close.
Whatever. Like,
full marks for
cool. No, cool. And like, if it works for you, cool, do it. And I might even give it a try. But like,
I mean, the half-peeled orange game like has stumped most people in the world. And you got it, what, 3 days, 2 days? You got your half-peeled orange?
Yeah, it's 2 or 3 days. Yeah. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, not weird, because I mean, you have this energy with you at the minute that you should be doing the magic to win the lottery, because I mean, there's something going on with you that you have. Stuart Wilde, I know I always talk about Stuart Wilde, but I wouldn't like that much money. I would like that much money, but do something big. He talks about the quickening, which is this kind of acceleration of energy that happens because it probably won't stick around forever. So while you're in the bubble,
right? Okay, I'm on it.
Get your stuff together.
Thing is, I just want to be a good person, Tommy. I want everyone to like me. That's all. I don't need to be rich for people to like me. You know what I mean? I just have to be nicer. I mean,
I'd like you a lot better.
Trying to get people to like me is hard enough as it is.
Yeah, but you could just pay them. You know? Like me. Oh yeah.
I suppose. Yeah. No, the orange thing was good because she said it to me in the morning. I might make orange juice today. I was like, I did it. And she was like, okay, well maybe she won't. Maybe she will go to the shop. Maybe she won't go to the shop because the young one was sick. They were all sick, and she was, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Like, go on, go to the shop. Mind bullets, go. And then she comes home and she's doing the thing and she starts peeling. I'm like, stop right now. She's like, what? I need to take a photo. What do you mean, photo what? You have a half-peeled orange. What are you talking about? Tommy has to say about half-peeled oranges. Just wait, stop moving. And she's going on. Stop moving. I need the half-peeled orange. What the fuck are you guys at now? You know? So I took the photo and then explained it to her, and she's like, You guys are so weird. You're so fucking weird. I was like, yeah, but I did it. I thought about it and it happened.
Yeah.
And she's like, no. Yeah, okay, all right, yeah.
Just, I suppose, to explain to people who don't know what it is, it's a game, I suppose, rather than any sort of experiment where you have to get a half-peeled orange using magic means, which means you can't ask someone to do it and you can't do it yourself. And that's the spirit of the game. There's plenty of kind of things around it. But it's hard to get. But like, I mean, most people, 99% of people don't get it. But it's a good way of kind of exploring and testing your own mind over matter, I suppose, ideas that you have about yourself.
Do you know what? I was walking the dog that morning with the young lad, and I came across a penny. I was just walking on the street, saw the penny, picked it up, and I went, I'm going to get the orange. I'm
Right.
going to get the orange today. Yeah, and,
Right.
and it was that day. Yeah, mental.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's a good game, and it's because a half-peeled orange is. Your oranges aren't that hard to come across, but a half-peeled is kind of an interesting. And the way your photo came out is like it's literally the game of half-peel. It's not kind of someone has peeled it a bit, and there's it's a full half of the peel is missing.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you're looking for.
Crazy.
It's exactly
like,
the thing. Yeah.
I was sitting there watching her, just going, wait. Like the scene in Braveheart. Hold. Getting the camera ready, just because as she was doing it, I was like, she's gonna do it. She's gonna do it. No, she's gonna stop now. Something's gonna happen. So, no, she's gonna do it. Positive mental attitude. I am Mr. Motivator. What the fuck? What am I doing? Fucking magic. What the fuck is going on, man? But I have to stay on the positive stuff. I'm not going anywhere near any bad stuff because I don't want that to fuck with me.
You're like Corey. You need to if I just have positive thoughts and he's had a terrible life though, hasn't he? By all accounts, like his life hasn't been particularly nice.
No, not great.
Yeah.
And then he came out as being a victim of a lot of sexual abuse and stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Poor old Corey. Seems like a nice lad, but look, this doc. We've watched it for you, lads. So you don't need the topics are great.
Yeah,
they're brilliant topics. Just very badly handled, unfortunately.
If you like Gaia documentaries, this is the documentary for you. That's it.
But I think you're right. It's another thing that fucking Crowley is right about. The method, the method is, or the aim is religion. The method is science. We don't need the first sentence, but just say the method is science. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to turn you can't turn remote viewing into a science, but or into a religion. But it's just a cool thing to do, and I'll even try it when I'm just thinking about people I know and what they might be up to. Friends in Australia, brothers in Switzerland. And I just close my eyes and just wonder what they're doing. Maybe they're doing that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's mad. You know what I mean? And it's just I don't know. It's mad. Yeah.
The other thing that really irks me about this is that if you go to the website after this documentary and you're looking, I want to find out a bit more. It all seems to be geared towards selling you courses, which are like 300 quid, 600 quid. There's workshops and all that. I'm all for, do whatever you want, but it's like there's a course on how to see with your eyes closed and, all this kind of stuff. And it's like going, people are allowed, I'm as capitalist as anyone else. I have my own, deck. I sell art, all this kind of stuff. So I'm not kind of totally, but it just, I don't know. It seems a bit, to me, and I may be wrong, it seems a bit disingenuous, the whole.
It's a bit, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth when it's over the top, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know? Because you can handle that in a good way, in a classy way. There's a fella, I better not mention his name, but the first one is Jason. And I get fucking emails from that cunt every day trying to get me to sign up to bullshit. I only signed up to his newsletter once, and it's like, piss off, man. From your analytics, I've logged into your website literally once.
Yeah.
Okay, Spud, fucking unsubscribe. Yeah, I will. Actually, I'll do it right now while I'm fucking talking to you, to be honest now, because I'm sick of that fella. Email. It's literally every day. Oh, here's a course in chaos magic. Here's a course in this. Here's this. Shut the fuck up, man, will you? I hate that bullshit. It's nothing worse than being hounded,
Yeah, and literally everyone knows what you're talking about, so.
yeah. But Laz aren't going to like me for this now because he's probably someone well liked, isn't he?
No, he's both well. Let's not say his name, but he's loved and hated in equal measure. That's
Look, I don't hate him. I just hate being hounded with fucking unsubscribe. Sorry, CEO. Sorry. Well, it's your fault. You came on too strong.
Yeah, I signed it up on YouTube recently. There's a guy who's goes, send me your email and I'll send you a free video on how to sing better. I go, grand. 6 emails a day. Fuck off.
Yeah.
But obviously it works because my newsletter, if I send 6 a year, I think I'm doing well, and it's usually my newsletter is, lads, I'm sorry, I'm shit at newsletters.
There's a YouTuber called CoffeeZilla, I think, and he does lots of takedown videos of these internet guru marketers, and he's good. He's very good. Yeah, and he goes after the big guys, and pulls them all down and just shows them to be the fucking frauds that they are, Tommy, I have one for us for next week.
Oh, is this the one you sent me? Art something, is
it? I watched it twice now. Aga watched it with me the second time as well.
So, Is it what we want? Is it what we're looking
It's
for?
a lot better than this anyway.
Right. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
Was it 18 euro?
No, it's actually free on YouTube.
Yeah, it's much more like it. Yeah, I already like this. I'm behind. I'm totally behind this one.
And else queer, strange. You want to get off your chest?
I don't think so. No, I got a piano. I'm loving my new piano. It's amazing. I'm very, very happy with it. It's one of the few things in my life that I have bought that when I got them that I was immediately, yeah, this was a great purchase. The Osmo Pocket was one, and I just loved it straight away. But like, what I mean by that is when I got the camera, while I ended up the camera you recommended me, I ended up loving it and thought it was a great thing. I immediately had a kind of a response. So that's kind of my, natural response to most things. But the Osmo Pocket, immediately loved it, and the piano when it arrived, the thing, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is what I've been waiting all my life to have. So yeah, that's I'm enjoying doing.
How are you learning it?
I've been two things of doing. I know most of the chords on the piano because I sat down years ago and with my guitar and went, that note is this note, and so I probably have bad technique and chords because that's probably not the right inversion of the chords, whatever. So I'm not completely beginner or whatever, but my favorite kind of song, I suppose, the Sati Ginopia Dia, whatever way that's pronounced, the one that was in the Marks and Spencer's ad not so long ago. You'll know it. So I've learned that, so that's a good one because it's got the two hands together thing going on, and you have to do a cross stuff. And the other one is Bohemian Rhapsody, so that's what I'm working on. But the very first thing I played on it was Imagine by John Lennon, because that should be the first thing ever.
Oh, well, it has to, that or one or some big Elton John one, I don't know. Yeah. Tiny Dancer or something like that, No, great. Happy for you, man. Great to see you being so creative and,
yeah, it's great. It's once you realise that, you can drop the I am one thing and you can do all the things.
Yeah.
You just can't
and
do
plus,
it.
like, you take the pressure off of I have to be the best at this.
Oh yeah, that's a
you just have
pressure.
to enjoy it. Like.
Have to enjoy it. Have to,
and
also not having to have an end goal, which is very strange for me. That you kind of go, well, I'm going to learn drums because I'm back learning drums as well. I get terrible at all these things, but I'll get good. Why are you learning drums? Because
it's fun.
Because it's fun, and because I'll enjoy it. But rather than I learn drums, get in a band, be a rock star, take over the world, make money, or whatever. Same with the photography, that was the whole idea. I was going to just, it'll be fun. Immediately joined a photography club, entered competitions, and I went, you're just doing Tommy. Stop doing Tommy for a while. Don't do that. So next week I will be joining a piano club, competitions. I'll be trying to beat everyone. I'm faster than you in the piano.
The ego is an awful thing. I spent a lot of weekend either watching Rick Beato or watching videos about deconstructing the ego, and unfortunately, a lot of videos on it are about deconstructing what the idea of ego is and not actually what your ego is. Because this is where I am in the tree of life thing. To make the next step, I need to have no fucking ego.
Right.
Which is hard. Like, I'm not the most egoistic person in the world, but I have a fucking personality.
Yeah.
So, like, I've been watching stuff like that, and it's like, I suppose, here's one for you to think about, right? The whole shadow work thing that magicians talk about.
Yeah.
Like, I just had this idea that even giving it a name is slightly egoistic because it means that you're taking on something that you can defeat or that you can control or calm. And it's like, you can't, from what I know about the ego and who we are and all, you can't do that. You can only see it and then maybe either accept it or defeat it or whatever. Maybe not defeat it. But then I found this other like guru guy who's like, look, the best way to kill your ego or to defeat your ego is maybe to look at it in that, like, you're a different person to every person you know, and what you should do is just wear the different hat depending on the situation you're in. So today I'm going into like an interview or something, yeah? So today I'm going to wear my hat saying, I'm going to get this job because I'm the perfect fit for this role. But as soon as I leave, I'm going to walk down the street and be Mr. Calm in the public thing. And he's just taking on and off these hats the whole time, which is fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the backbone of chaos magic. Like, that's the idea. Like, that you beliefs as tools, Yeah, so to fit the. I suppose it's like being a chameleon in some sense, and so therefore people say, "Oh, that's not being fake and it's not authentic." Well, who the fuck is a fake, non-fake, and authentic? I've like 12 different people in me at least that have very opposing ideas about what I should be doing. And some of them don't want to do anything. Don't leave the house, whatever it is. But when you see it as a kind of deliberate hat change, it seems. When it's deliberate, I suppose, when you're not doing it deliberately, there is an element of inauthenticity.
And it seems kind of doable. But then, when like this week for me, where I've hardly slept at all because of blocked noses and apnea and whatever, like you're very quick to go to your base and shout at the young lads or shout at the wife because you're tired, and you're like, no, stop this bullshit, But like tiredness is a huge thing. You need lots of sleep.
Such a huge thing
to be normal,
Yeah.
Anyway,
and like an awful lot of kind of thoughts about the world or about relationships and all that. An awful lot of it is just you're fucking tired.
You're tired or you're hungry or horny.
Horny. That's it.
And
simple,
are any of those really your ego? Are any of those your ego? Like your hunger isn't your ego.
They're physical. That's a physical thing. I suppose it's your reaction to it is the ego thing. But a lot of people think the whole idea of ego is bullshit anyway. Like that it's not that we have. Particularly in the whole meditation thing that you have to get rid of your ego and all this. It's like, stop. That's again, it's putting a separation. It's like what you were saying about the shadow. Even by determining that you have an ego is a form of ego, or whatever. And so you can't get away from it. It's some people would say that rather than doing that, you welcome your ego, you accept it into the fold. You what's the word? Rather than destroying it, you incorporate it.
Embrace it.
You bring it in. There's an award I can't remember because my brain. One of the guys, the 12 guys, is off doing something else, and he has that word with him in a suitcase. So
I'm going to leave you then to talk to the other 11 Tommies, and I'm going to go out to the garden, take my shoes off, and ground myself, and then contemplate killing ants, which I don't really want to do, to be honest. Anyway, bye.
Bye.
Bye.